तू तो scientist बनेगी because I could be a scientist.
No, this by far was a part of the discussion which all of them related to. I think majority of them related to, even I related to, saying mathematics was not the strongest suit. But Karan, before I move on to the next one, I must ask you and bring you in as well. If you were to say that there was one subject that was your least favorite subject, which one would it be?
Karan is a topper.
So all subjects are.
Yeah, 90 plus student, ladies and gentlemen. Karan Johar is a 90 plus student.
Yes. So that happened much later on in college, where I actually topped the state in my BCom.
Wow.
And my principal, Mrs. Indu Shani, called me in and said that the Bajaj, kind of Institute of Management is offering you a seat to do, your further studies after my BCom. And I was like, no, but I want to make movies. And she looked at me and she said, then why did you study so hard? So I was like, oh, that was the reputation then of like people entering the movies. But to go back to my ICS examination, I had the strangest report card. In fact, the board wrote to my school and said that, can this child ask for a recount? Because I had 90, 92, 90, 90, 90, 45.
45.
And no prizes for guessing what that 45 was.
Maths?
So the thing with me and maths was that I had a very anxious relationship with mathematics. Because as soon as the paper came in front of me, I would draw a blank. In those days, we had two math papers, Maths 1 and Maths 2. In Math 1, you had two, okay.
Yes.
In Math 1 was arithmetic primarily, and in arithmetic, I never understood anything. So I left out 40 marks in paper 1, and I think the rest of the 60, I must have got 20 right. At the break, we had 3 hours of a break between the two papers. I had a meltdown, like I collapsed in front of my teacher, and I said, I don't want to do maths too. And she kept saying, you cannot behave like this. And I was just saying, I can't do, I'll fail anyway, I can't do it. Somehow the other, my mother gave me some motivational lecture on the phone, and then I went and ate 2 large anniversary Cadbury bars. Because that's how I dealt with anxiety. It was chocolate. Not that I propagated, please don't. But I ate 2 bars, and it became like spinach to Popeye. And like I went on and I fought it like a war. And obviously when they asked me, do you want to do a recount? I was like, no, I passed. I got 45. Please don't change these marks for anything. It just didn't work around. But the thing with ambition, and the thing with really proving that you can do something that you are weak and vulnerable about. I remember in F5 BCom, mathematics in commerce was compulsory back then. I was in HR college and I had to do mathematics, and it came back into my life in first year senior college. And I was like, this time I'm going to fight you. This time you're not going to let me kind of get bogged down by you. So I went to a Mr. Saldana who actually had these classes. I went there diligently and I got an 81 in
Wow. Karan Johar.
It was not about the 81. It was about fighting your demons. And that's what I want to tell everyone out there. You will all have your vulnerabilities. You will all have your weaknesses. You can't just consider them weaknesses. You've got to convert them into your strengths. Because that will what will make you a world leader in any capacity.
So overcome those weaknesses from 45 to 81, and from 81 to now, millions of people who are watching his movies across. I think you've mastered maths much better than many people have.
I still don't get budgets and monies, but right now, I mean, now the time is for passion and not for like the money aspect of things.
No, but you've mastered the art of getting millions to the theaters, and that is the maths that you've mastered, and I think that's something that very few people have.
But that's emotional mathematics, and that we all have.
No, but he's very humble. The remaining subjects were 90.
Yeah.
The remaining subjects were 90, which he very casually mentioned, saying I got 92, 94, so and so. And there was only one subject that had 45. And from 45, he got that subject also to 81. So I think the real student of the year, or the student of the decade or decades, it's Karan Johar.
You know, in Student of the Year, the one thing that we really missed out on projecting was the student aspect, because no one was really studying in that college for some reason. And I was like, they were cycling and they were in a triathlon, but like I was like, where were they actually studying? Someone asked me this question. I was like, yeah, I missed that beat. You know, it was like not something I'm very proud of, but like we did okay. We have Alia Bhatt, like I said, we did okay.
You did more than okay. Again,
अच्छा maths के marks की बात हो रही है. So I would like to ask Alia, what is the lowest you've ever gotten in exam?
8.
Nice. 8 on?
I don't know.
20,
I just
50,
remember it was
100?
number 8. I think, no, not 8 on 10, obviously, otherwise that would be high. Must have been 8 on something. It was 8 physics. I cried. I feel that something. On 10 it was. 8 on 80. ऐसा कुछ होगा पर मैंने
8 on 80 कोई नहीं होता, 8 on 50 होता है, 100 होता है.
80 भी होता है यार.
I just remember it was 8. It was a very sad and also I was going to say something I'm not going to say.
Okay.
it just makes
Karan, lowest ever?
Mathematics 22
On?
On 100.
Okay.
24, 28. My prelims I was 32. I had a teacher called Mr. Sebastian. And he did the Navina for me. 9 Wednesdays. 9 Wednesdays he went to the church in Mahim because he said, I've never had a student that will fail and you will be my first. So he did 9 Wednesdays, he went and did the Navina for me, I still remember. And when he came to me with tears in his eyes and he says, you got 45. I said, yes, and we hugged each other emotionally that we did it. Like that was how low he thought of me in that subject.
Amazing. You have been asking,
आप बताएं.
the lowest that lowest I've scored was I think 14 on 50. Which is very
That's
good.
pretty low.
And
I think mine also must have been 50, 8 on.
And this was
Anybody in the audience have a candidate for record for lowest ever in an examination? Yes, जनाब, जो आप तो उतावले हो रहे हैं बताने के लिए बताएं. इतनी excitement अपने failure को report करने के लिए बताएं.
You learn more from your failures than you do with your successes, by the way.
Oh.
No one should be scared of failing.
2 out of 100.
We have a 2 out of 100 going once, going twice.
And the winner
else
is?
Lower.
And the winner is?
No, the winner.
Which subject?
Excuse, madam.
Maths.
Excuse, madam. Maybe
Yeah.
who is game mein?
Sorry,
By the way, don't
sorry.
declare the winner just
Oh,
yet.
sorry.
Okay, 2 on 100. Anybody
2 on
lower?
100 maths,
Anybody
Gia.
lower? Wow. इतने एक्साइटमेंट के साथ बता रहे, देखो हम फेल हो गए. हाँ बताओ यार.
I think now they just, huh?
चिल्ला के बोल. इतना एक्साइटमेंट है तो चिल्ला के बोल. मैं फेल हो गया. Did not appear is not. This not doesn't qualify. You.
Wow!
0 on 100.
You
क्या
didn't see
बात
that?
है मेरे शेर. 0 on 100. Okay.
But the one who did not appear is the principal of the school now. Such a success story.
देखिए, अगर आप फेल हो गए तो कोई बात नहीं. आगे जाके आप करण जौहर भी बन सकते हैं. आप स्कूल के प्रिंसिपल भी बन सकते हैं. क्या बात है सर, आपकी यू हैव फाउंड द फाउंटेन ऑफ यूथ. आपको देख के लगता नहीं है किसी एंगल से आप प्रिंसिपल है. और बकायदा कॉलेज गोइंग बॉय लग रहे हैं. एनीवे, बैक टू द गेम. और कोई ये 0 on 100 से कोई लोअर लाया है? मैं लाया हूं. जिसको मिला था मैथ में अंडा. 0 on 100, -10 for talking. So -10 on 100.
You were talking while achieving the grand zero.
I was trying. हाथ पैर मार रहे थे सर एग्जाम हॉल में, कुछ तो हो जाएगा. Oh God.
You know, but this is the thing that we love about this guy, that and the way he's projected and portrayed it, and it's actually true. Irrespective of the one thing, I think one summary that we took is they're great in their academics also, but even if you are bad at something in life, eventually you're going to come out on top as long as you have the right role models, as long as you have a principal that looks at you.
But you know what the learning is? Truly, there is a deep learning here. Is that life doesn't stop there. It's not the be-all and end-all. If you fail, take a leaf out of Karan Johar's book. Make that 4581. Tomorrow is another day.
And you know, I
Wake
think-
up, put your mind to it, work harder, and make your weaknesses into your strengths.
And also the most important thing, the emphasis on failure and then the overemphasis on success. The only way to really beat the system is to not fight it at all, firstly, and treat your failures like you treat your successes, because both of them should be immaterial eventually. The moment you start propping success and putting it on a pedestal, and the moment you drop yourself when you fail, both are going to serve you absolutely nothing in the long run of life. Deal with both in the same way and you'll find your balance.
But Karan, I must ask you this question as well. You said there is, and I've seen this in all your movies, there's always some sort of social commentary, or there is commentary or a message in every movie. You know, it's not something that is directly put out there, but there is that underlying message. And therefore, I wanted to ask all three of you, what is the message that they can take away apart from the entertainment, and also apart from the fact that it is going to be a family, a movie that's one can go to theaters with their family? What is the one big takeaway that you think that they can take?
So
how
I think
we
that
can give the takeaway, then how they have
no,
to
I'll
first go
answer
to
that.
take it away.
I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you what it is. The
Small
film,
takeaway.
without taking the takeaway, that the film broadly is young at heart but old in spirit. And that's the best way to define it. Also, it's in the trailer. It's brief messaging, but y'all are all too young to probably understand that. But you will enjoy all the fun aspects of the film. But anyone who understands that we as Indians and Asians believe very strongly in the power of family. And we believe that family, when in bad times and good times, you need the power of family to kind of empower you. And some of us are blessed to have stable, supportive families, and some of us don't have that luxury. Many of you here are young, impressionable minds. Many of you will draw today from the strength you derive from your family, and unfortunately there are many who also don't have the pleasure of that strength. We actually in Rocky or Rani ki Prem Kahani just talk about how powerful it can be for parents to also understand that, we always put an emphasis on how correct parents are and how wrong, the children can be. But there is a thought in Rocky or Rani ki Prem Kahani beyond its love story and its ideological clash. It's also about that if you're a parent, at times you can be wrong too. And you can be actually the gray area in your child's life. So it's very critical for parents to understand, just because आप बड़े हैं, आप बुजुर्ग हैं, लेकिन दिल तोड़ने का हक आपको भी नहीं है.
I think this again. I think they'll remove this clip and show it to all the parents.
No, and this is in no way, I'm a parent
No, no,
myself. Alia's a parent
Right,
herself.
right.
We all have to know that we are human beings first. And we are also capable of making mistakes. But in the food chain of family, you are always meant to believe that the father, the mother, the elder sibling is always right. Many a time, and I'm sure some of you children, kids and youngsters in the audience will understand that that's not always the truth. We have to know, and so Rocky or Rani ki Prem Kahani scratches the surface of that and says so much more. But otherwise, it's a really funny, entertaining, happy film. And if you draw from it these little tiny gems that may be thrown at you now and then that's great. Otherwise, you can ask yourself the most pivotal question: what chumka?
But I'm glad you mentioned this, that it's also fun, but there are small takeaways as well in this, and therefore I must ask one question to Ranveer and Alia. Sir, what is that one leadership or life lesson that you learned from playing Rocky, and what you learned from playing Rani that you can pass on to them?
Most certainly, compassion and empathy. Before you write a person off, should always try and give them a chance. Big learning from this guy.
Very well said.
What I learned from Rani, I'm trying to think.
The thing with Alia is, I don't think, and you can answer this after I say, I think that she didn't learn as much as she actually gave to the character, because I think Alia in many ways is Rani.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. So Karan, the way Rani is written and the things she stands for, and the values that she has and the perspective that she has, I agree with 99% of the things that she believes and feels. But there's a slight difference between Rani and me. Is एक चीज होती है कि, and this is not with regards to if you have to stand up for yourself, you have to stand up for yourself, and to hell with the world. Sorry, pardon my language, but to hell, because you have to stand up for yourself. But there's a certain level at which this over opinions constantly giving is not required in a situation where if you can make the matter better, then say something. Otherwise, sometimes it's better to just stay quiet and let the situation handle itself out.
Very well said.
So, not like Rani at all is a negative person, but sometimes you may think that I'm just putting my opinion out there, but you're adding a lot of noise. So the value that maybe I learned from playing that character, and not like Rani was adding noise, was that there's a certain decorum and a certain gentleness with which you can also put your opinion out there and try and make things better, as opposed to just think of where you're coming from.
And actually, in a way, I have to say that that's what Alia brought to the character, and it's entirely, I give her full credit for it. On paper, Rani was heavily opinionated and at parts could have been, if I may say so, not likable, because she was so strong in her opinion. Rani was given sensitivity and understanding by Alia's sheer genius. She understood that she had to do it in a way where she was completely likable, because Rocky was written as likable, right? And she is a totally different character, but she brought the likability to her character and made it, in a sense, worthy of emulation.
And in today's day and age, one of the we just love what all of you say, but one of the things that Alia, you said so beautifully, is the fact that in today's day and age, it's always about giving an opinion even if you don't have an opinion. Because in today's age of social media, and sometimes that can become toxic, everybody has an opinion about everything. And I think it's so important to perhaps take away from that answer that it's okay not to have an opinion, and it's okay not to have an opinion on a particular subject area and say no comments.
No, the thing is, if you're helping the situation, if you're standing up for something, if you're believing in something, if you need to make your ground heard, go for it. But if you're just adding to noise and just giving an opinion just for the heck of it, and not knowing the head or the tail or the middle or the back or the center, why? Why do it? Just read a book.
Read a book.
You know?
Oh goodness. So before we declare the winners, there's a who's more likely, which is the part 2 of this. So we'll run this quickly. Who's more likely to plan a surprise romantic date between the three of you? Who's most likely to fight the world for love?
Fight the world for love.
Who's more likely to create a public scene while fighting? And between Rocky and Rani, who is more likely to apologize first after an argument? The final question, because we are going back to school, who's more likely to have been the teacher's pet? So now,
Karan. Sorry, I take it. Sorry, Karan, I give it to you.
Karan should, yes, he's aced everything. So, but you were.
Complete front row, annoying to other students, teachers' pet.
You are the Hermione Granger of school and college. But let me ask you, so between Rocky, Rani and the principal of the school, who is the winner? Okay, let's make noise if you think Ranveer Singh won this. If
You don't need to move to Alia and Karan, he has won it.
Okay.
We are giving it to him, we want him to win. You are a winner, baby. A winner.
Thank you.
And the prize is not a hamper. We can't give a hamper like his. But the prize
नहीं
is
सर कुछ तो देना पड़ेगा अब.
prize is the young people are going to ask you a lot of questions.
भी गेम खिलवाया और सब प्राइज भी नहीं देंगे मैडम, ये देखो ऐसे क्या यार, मुझे नहीं जीतना ये सब. Okay, so here's a life lesson. Okay, whether you win or lose,
Playing the game is important.
there you go.
Playing the game is important. We got a special prize which we can't give in front of everybody, so we'll give that to you behind.
ये कौन सा special prize है भाई?
Can't mention. This is a secret one can't mention. No, there's nothing at all that is. All of them are incredibly sweet to just take out time and essentially come out here. So thank you to all three of them for coming. But before we let them, before we let them go, there are lots of questions that are there from the audience for the three of you. So let's open it up first to the students who are in front of us, and then we'll go to the rest of the country as well. So, yes, Rutva, we have a question.
Good afternoon, Alia ma'am, Ranveer sir and Karan sir. I would like to begin with thanking the IIMUN for providing me with this opportunity through the Back to School series. I am Nidhi Chavla from Sacred Heart School, Kalyan. And my question for you all is, when we think of the cinema as an industry, it is the glitz and the glamour that pops up in our minds. But there is also a downside, a negative aspect to the industry, to the people associated with this industry, be it the box office pressure or the media or the trolls. So what advice would you like to give to us students about the setbacks that we may have in our life, in our future?
Number one, what's your name?
Nidhi Chavla.
Nidhi. Correct?
Yes, yes.
Nidhi. So something that I learned, and very early on, and it just happened through open dialogue and conversation in my house. Life is hard, yeah. That's basically it. It's not industry, it's not anything. You have ups, you have downs. You just have to keep a grateful heart and take each day as it comes, and not put too much pressure on yourself to ace everything. I think one of the things that Karan said is the most important three words that we don't say is I don't know, I messed up, I'm not right, I could be wrong. And if you are right, and if you've not messed up, and you do know, then anybody saying anything doesn't matter, because you know you're right. Vis-a-vis box office, I think that's something that as an industry we will always feel very, very responsible about, because we know that our audience spends their hard-earned money and comes to watch our movie. So it's our responsibility to entertain them. So that pressure we willingly take. Because if we don't take that pressure, then we will not be responsible and we will not put our 150% every day. I suddenly lost. Something like a ringing started in my ear.
Thank you so much.
Super. Yes, the next. Thank you, Aditi. And
good afternoon, Rishabh sir, Karan sir, Alia ma'am, and Ranveer sir. My name is Rani. I'm 14 years old. I'm one of India's youngest climate activists, and I study in Don Bosco High School, Borivali West. I would like to especially
How's the football team doing, bro?
Football team doing awesome.
Yeah. Don Bosco है करेगी awesome. Fierce competitors in football. Don Bosco.
I would like to thank IMUN and my school and Rishabh sir for this opportunity. I would like to start by saying, how do you all feel that, as influential people in the entertainment industry, that Bollywood can play a role in promoting campaigns, in promoting a good campaign for many such initiatives like mental health, gender equality, and an issue which really deserves our attention, which is climate change and environment sustainability. From Rocky or Rani ki Prem Kahani, what do you feel is your message that you aim to not just give to our students, not just to our city, but to the full world?
Baba, what did you say your name was? Zidane. Zidane from Don Bosco.
नाम Zidane है.
Okay, Zidane. Zidane, it's critical to know that while films are a mode of entertainment, they're also very impressionable, and it's critical for filmmakers to always have something to say. Like I said previously, perhaps coated with entertainment, perhaps coated with cinematicness, but eventually you've got to say something. I think the one thing that plagues our society is male privilege. It's very critical that we address it, not only as a society, but also understand it in families, that male entitlement and male privilege is one thing that constantly, as I said, plagues us, but also can really be impressionable to the mind of the young boy and girl in the house, or either. This is one thing that Rocky or Rani ki Prem Kahani addresses, is male privilege, male entitlement, and how it can actually be the fulcrum of disaster in a household. Of course, this sounds loaded, but it's coming through in the most accurate manner ever in this film.
I hope that
I'd like to end by saying that you all are really a big inspiration to me, and I just hope to work with you on something.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, God bless you. God bless you, Siddharth.
Subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.